Okay, so let's solve some equations with fractions. Okay, if you want to know if something is a solution of an equation, you have to plug in that value or substitute that value in for that variable and see if it creates a true statement. So in this one, we're going to try out x equals 1 first. So I'm going to put 1 in where I see x, and I'm going to see if it makes a true statement. So then you can either grab your calculator and type in 1 minus 3/10 and see if that equals 1/2, or you can do this by hand. 1 is the same thing as 10 over 10. Why did I choose 10? So that I can have a common denominator. And I'm going to put a question mark there because I'm not sure yet. So 10 over 10 minus 3 over 10 gives me 7 over 10, which does not equal 1/2. So on part A, I would say no, that is not a solution. Okay, so let's look at part B. Let's put in 4/5. So 4/5 minus 3/10, does that equal 1/2? Well, 4/5 and 3/10, I've got to have a common denominator. So I know that 10 is my common denominator, so my numerator has to be 8 here. So 8 over 10 minus 3 over 10 gives me 5 over 10. And 5 over 10 is equal to 1/2. So that is a solution. Alright, so let's try part C. So in part C, I've got negative 4/5 minus 3/10. Does that equal 1/2? Well, just like the last time, I'm going to use negative 8/10 though. And so I get negative 11/10, which does not equal 1/2. So on this one, I would say no as well. Okay, on this problem right here, you look at the variable and you ask yourself what's happening to the variable. Well, I'm adding 9/16 to it. So how do you undo addition? You undo addition with subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 9/16 from both sides of that equal sign. This right here created 0. That's what we wanted. I'm bringing the y straight down. Now I already have a common denominator, so I'm going to just do 5 minus 9, which is negative 4. But that needs to be reduced. Always give your answer in the lowest form possible. So this would be negative 1/4. So your final answer is actually y is equal to negative 1/4. Make sure you say that y is equal to negative 1/4. You have to write that whole thing in order to get full credit. Notice how on here they tell you to check your work. So this is the actual answer, but from here to here they are checking. I think you should always check your work. So go ahead and take a look at that and make sure that that makes sense to you. Alright, so I've got a minus 5/9 equals negative 8/9. So the first thing that I would do here is ask myself what's happening to my variable. Well, it's being subtracted by 5/9. How do you undo that? You add 5/9 to both sides. This right here creates 0. So I've got that a is equal to, what's a negative 8 plus 5? Since we already have a common denominator, don't need to change anything. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. Don't change your denominator. Now that's not a good answer because it needs to be reduced. And so your final answer is a is equal to negative 1/3. And again, you can check your work. So the check part, this is the part I'm grading. This is the part I'm grading. So these two things are what I'm grading. But your check is for you to see if you did it right. So take that negative 1/3, put it in where you see A, and do some math. I'm going to have to get a common denominator over here. I'm going to put a question mark there. So you get -8/9 equals -8/9. I know I did good. Okay, on this problem right here, I've got 10q is equal to 44. Now, the operation that's going on with that variable means multiplication. When you have a number that is touching a variable like that, that means multiplication. So really, this problem says 10 times q equals 44. Well, what's the opposite operation of multiplication? It's division. So in this case, we would divide both sides by 10. 10 divided by 10 creates 1. That's what you want. You want a 1q or just a q. And you get 44 over 10. Now, that's not a good answer either. I want it to be in reduced terms. So you could give me 22 over 5. That's a great answer. You could give me 4 2/5, also a great answer. Prefer that you not give me the decimal, but if you gave me 4.4, I would not mark that wrong. But again, let's keep it with one of these two. And honestly, I prefer the improper more than the mixed number. So I like that answer the best. But if you gave me 4 2/5 or 4.4, I would not mark it wrong. Okay, so what does this problem say? It says x divided by 7. That's what that fraction bar means. It means x divided by 7 equals -9. So what's the inverse operation or the opposite operation of division? It's multiplication. So I want to multiply both sides by 7. You have to show this step. So this right here cancels those guys out. That's good. So you're left with x is equal to, what's -9 times 7? It's -63. So this is your final answer here. Okay, so look at this one. A lot of people automatically jump to the number 5, but that is the incorrect answer here. So you've got p divided by -8 is equal to -40. In order to solve this, you have to multiply both sides by -8. Those cancel each other, so you're left with p is equal to negative times a negative is a positive. 40 times 8 is 320. There's your final answer. And again, if you take that 320 and you put it back in for p, you can see that it couldn't be 5, because -5/8 does not equal -40. Okay, this one appears as though it might already be solved for you, but it's not, because notice you have the minus sign in front of the y. So really, what number is there? I want you guys to realize that this is the same as -1y is equal to 15. So now you don't want a negative sign in front of your variable. You want just the plain old variable. So in order to do this, I usually divide. You could multiply, but I usually divide. So negative divided by negative is a positive. So I've got that y is equal to -15 here. Okay, on this problem, we've got 3/4 times x is equal to 24. A couple of things that you could do here. I'm going to show you both ways. So I've got 3/4 x equals 24. Now, I could divide both sides by 3/4. That creates 1. That's what you want. But off to the side, I'm going to do some math. So I've got 24 over 1 divided by 3/4. Remember, keep, change, flip. So you've got to keep the first one, change your sign to multiplication, flip your second one. So now I can just multiply straight across. So I've got 8 times 4 is 32, so I've got that x is equal to 32. Now, the other way to do this, and really this is the way I prefer, if I'm using a calculator, I would do it this way. If I were having to do this by hand, I would go ahead and do it like this. Okay, remember how we had to keep, change, flip? Well, you can actually multiply right off from the beginning both sides by the reciprocal. And you still get the same answer. The 4's cancel there, the 3's cancel there. So you're left with x is equal to, 3 will go into that, 8 times 4 is 32. So I just feel like the way on the right, this way, is a little bit quicker. But again, if you're using a calculator, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so on this problem, I've got negative 3/8 w equals 72. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that way that I like better, so I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so the 8's cancel, the minus signs cancel, the 3's cancel. On the left, I'm left with, oops, not a y, that's silly. I'm left with w. Okay, so 3 will go into 72, let's see here, 24 times. And then I need to multiply 24 times negative 8. So I know I'm going to get a negative. 4 times 8 is 32, carry my 3, so 192. Negative 192 is my answer here. Alright, so on this one they want us to translate and solve. N divided by 6 is 24. Remember, is means equals. So n divided by 6 is negative 24. Don't give me an answer of negative 4. If you put negative 4 in there, you're going to get out negative 2/3. That's not good. So what we want to do is we want to multiply both sides by 6. Multiply by 6. So n is equal to negative 144, not negative 4. Okay, this one we're translating and solving at the same time. Alright, so quotient also means divide. So you've got the quotient of q and negative 5. So q and negative 5 is means equals 70. And again, to solve this one, just like on the last one, multiply both sides by negative 5. So q is equal to negative 350. Alright, so this one says translate and solve 2/3 of f, remember of means multiply, is 18. So 2/3 of f is 18. So again, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. What you do to one side, you do the identical thing to the other side. Those 3's cancel, those 2's cancel. So on the left hand side I'm left with plain old f is equal to, on the right, check this out, the 2 turns into a 1 because I'm going to divide both by 2, and that becomes a 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So f is equal to 27 here. Okay, so look at this one. The quotient of m and 5/6 is 3/4. So quotient means divide. So m divided by 5/6 is equal to 3/4. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5/6. So that cancels that. M is equal to, now I'm going to reduce some things here, that and that. I think that's all I can do. So multiply straight across. 1 times 5 is 5, 4 times 2 is 8. So m is equal to 5/8. Alright, this one says translate and solve. The sum of 3/8 and x is 3 1/2. So the sum of 3/8 and x, so there's the sum of 3/8 and x, is 3 1/2. Okay, so in order to solve this, I would subtract 3/8 from both sides. That created 0, that went away. So x is equal to, now I need to do some math off to the side because I don't have a common denominator. There, now I have a common denominator, so I get 3 1/8. So x is equal to 3 1/8. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope this helps. Have a good day.